All right, welcome everybody to the Genesis Mindset round 2. So I want to try and challenge myself to do this below half an hour. So anyway, let's give this another try. So today I am going by the name of Copexistence Steven. So welcome to the Genesis Mindset. Today is going to be a mindset episode, but I also want to show you what I see and how nothing has changed from my thesis yesterday. However, the timing couldn't be any more uncanny. So the Trump pump has more or less pied me in the face, but I'm maintaining my stance as the fluctuations don't alter my original thesis. I want to show the bathtub liquidity flows of cryptocurrency as well as how and why everything is dipped in Pulsechain. So as always, again, I'll emphasize this. I emphasized this before. Don't take this as financial advice. I'm only just documenting my process. How accurate can I be with a clear mind and a positive mindset? That's what I'm actually trying to do. So let's get straight into the episode because I do want to challenge myself to keep this below half an hour. So I've got everything ready to go. So yesterday, I made this tweet about why I think Pulsechain can flip Solana. Then, of course, the Trump token came out. And, well, to be perfectly honest, I think this was posted just before what time was this? January 17th. So, yeah. so this was posted on January 17th, and then the Trump token launched like just after that, essentially. So, and the Trump token, $742 million in liquidity. So the Trump token in liquidity has flipped all of Pulsechain. So all of Pulsechain, it's flipped. I mean, PulseX liquidity is 297 million in liquidity. So that obviously doesn't take into account 9-inch, 9mm, maybe, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't take into account all the dexes, right? So, but it still basically more or less flips all of Pulsechain. So now with the liquidity flows, we're seeing everything drop all across Pulsechain. So you're seeing it here. So these candles are going to affect people's emotions. So all across Twitter, people are starting to get upset again. And it's really got me thinking, like, why does this phenomenon continuously happen? And why do I keep maintaining positivity? So this is what I'm going to go to in just a minute. But all across the blockchain, this is the power of liquidity bonding. So it has its pros and cons, and this is definitely one of the cons. But you're seeing the same thing happen on all of Ethereum. So everything is dipping. All the Richard Hart core coins are dipping. Like everything is down 17%, like literally everything is down 18%. Even the metaverse tokens, the PRC20s, they're all down 11%, 12%. So, this is cope, where you could be like, all right, well, I'm going to choose to stay optimistic on this. This is just cope. But I don't actually think that it is, because why? The main reason is it's just liquidity flows. So if we have a look at, actually, I'm supposed to put this first. If we have a look at this, so this is total global cryptocurrency market cap. Nothing's changed. So December the 8th was basically when we had our cryptocurrency top. That was the biggest that the total value of the cryptocurrency market cap was. We're not even there yet. So what does that mean? It's just basically liquidity moved from this part of cryptocurrency to that part of cryptocurrency. What does that also mean? It means people are using bridges. So when people say that, people aren't going to come to Pulsechain because it's too difficult to bridge, well, this pretty much shows that people don't give a crap. They went all the way to Trump. People don't care. They're going to go where the money is. That's what it's telling me. That's the only thing it's telling me. I'm not reading this as some negative thing of like, why is Pulsechain not pumping? Like, of course, Donald Trump is going to go to Solana. It's the hottest blockchain in cryptocurrency this particular cycle. Of course, he's not going to come to Pulsechain. So it's like, I don't see why it's a negative thing. That's just me. And if you have a look at this, you can see the massive inflow of liquidity. So this is in the last 7 days this is just today, actually. So January 19, you can see basically like Solana is dominating. Solana has like more liquidity than all the other blockchains put together. But if you have a look at it in the last 30 days, it tells a different story. It's probably equal with Ethereum and Arbitrum, maybe equal, so it's probably like got a third. So, okay, what does that tell me? Again, basically like 50% of the cryptocurrency market has bridged across to Solana. It's not that hard to bridge. You just got to press a few buttons. So for me, I'm looking at this going, great. People have no issues with bridging. So that maintains my core thesis that if we run last, which I believe that we will, and this is the part of the thesis which will state that Pulsechain flips Solana, is basically when Solana is on the way out. So Solana's basically on its dying breath. It's dumping. Everything's dumping. The bull market's ending. But Pulsechain is on its final grasp up. It's doing its final leg up. And that's when we can have this flipping moment. And yeah, so then in my opinion, that's how we can flip. So what are we seeing here? Basically, all this liquidity will just start to flow into the other blockchains. People are happy to go where the money is. People don't care about not going where the money is. People like to click a few buttons. People are going to click a few buttons. Yes, now when there's all these other opportunities, why would they? There's really no big deal. So this is just my opinion. So yeah, Copexistence is very accurate. Yeah, cheers, bro. Okay, so yeah, now what I wanted to do is I just want to do like a little presentation here. So a little bit of a mindset. I thought it was a really fun speech today with one of my best friends that I met in a meditation center. His name's Greg. So I did that, talking about his content, talking about meditation and mindset. So we went into a lot of that today. So if you want to check out that stream, you can check out that stream from earlier today. Here we go. So learned optimism. So there's kind of two ways of looking at everything. So learned optimism is the way that I look at things. And this is why I really am in tune with the key differences, because this is not what I was before. So learned optimism is glass half full thinkers. So they have a positive bias. So basically it's a belief that one can positively influence outcomes through their efforts. Now, have to take into account that I believe that we can collectively, if I believe that I as an individual can manifest my reality, and this is scientifically proven, that I can positively manifest my reality, then I believe that we can also collectively do that. So what I'm doing here as well is I'm maintaining my stance, even though it feels uncomfortable, even though it's really going against the grain. I'm maintaining my stance and I'm putting that positive energy out into that universe. And this is exactly what Richard Hart does as well. So optimists, they tend to show more activity in regions associated with positive emotions, such as prefrontal cortex and reward systems, so the dopamine pathway. So this is from a neuroscience perspective. Now, statistically, optimists are more likely to succeed. This really goes without saying. We don't really have to think too much on that. It's quite obvious, right? I'll just remove this comment here. Thanks for that comment, Adrian. So yeah, the way that I'm looking at this from a learned optimist perspective, the Trump pump basically means that retail money and money is willing to move around. The money is willing to flow around. And within a day or two, like basically what? How much of the percentage? When we looked at those charts, it was probably like 20 to 30% of the total liquidity has flowed and bridged into Solana. So basically that tells me, well, they're happy to go where the money is. So where's it going to go to next? So yes, it's on there now. No problem whatsoever. That goes without saying. How could it be any other way? Solana is the hottest blockchain. Of course, it's going to get all the attention. Of course, this is going to happen. But it's really now even more so, it's like this beautiful calling card before Trump's inauguration. Things are really starting to kick off. The rest of it's almost just like Trump is on a megaphone saying, all right, I'm really standing up for cryptocurrency now. And he's putting that megaphone out to all of America. So for me, again, I'm just looking at this as like a positive thing. Yes, they're going to be the first to eat. No doubt about it. This is not really like, it's not something that's going to happen just like we're going to gradually beat them. It's going to be something where at the end we're going to beat them. So, all right. Learned helplessness. This is something that I'm very familiar with because I grew up with a very, 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 very negative mind. So this is the way that I used to live. So glass half empty thinkers. So negative bias. So they're pessimists. So they have heightened activity in areas like the amygdala, which is involved in fear and negative emotions. So the more fear and negative emotions that you have in your life, the more pessimistic you are. And this is exactly how I lived my life. So as these candles are going down, it's triggering the amygdala because there's a fear, because fear is associated with losing money, and losing money is associated with survival, which is associated with negative emotions, which is associated with fear. So it's this negative habit loop. So now we look at this Trump pump with the pessimistic point of view, with the amygdala point of view, because really we think that we're in control of the way that we think, but we're just robots living according to the pictures in our mind. So this Trump pump basically is just like, oh, Solana's already won. It's game over. Pulsechain's never going to come back from here. It's also very, it's kind of very short-term thinking, in my opinion, because it's really just like, again, if I'm looking at this as liquidity flows, all I'm seeing now is basically like when we would have these cycles within Pulsechain where the liquidity flows from, say, the Atropa ecosystem to the Tangang ecosystem, then it will flow to PTGC or whatever it is. That was very, very distinct for the first year. You could really see it. You could follow the liquidity flows going from one meme coin to the next meme or to the next the next community. And that's all I'm seeing. It's just flowing from here to there. And these things take time. So if I'm just looking at these little things, again, it's like looking at a chart and going, oh, why have I got a dip? And the dip is like, we're never going to win. But when you look at it in 2 years' time, that little dip there really means nothing. So it's almost just like we've got this dip, and yeah, I can see. And again, yeah, this maybe is like massive cope, but again, I'm staying true to my thesis. I don't actually see how this changes it because we haven't considered the time dimension. That's really what it's all about. So I tell you what, I don't like buying green candles. By the time I saw it, I would be up 10x on it. So it's a bit of a shame, but whatever. There's still plenty of opportunities on Pulsechain. So finally a Pulsechain video for today. So there hasn't been many Pulsechain videos for today, Matt and Barley. What's going on, Grogu? And hey, most of us been in here for more than one cycle. Should know volatility rotations will occur right before bigger pumps. This will just create a bigger spring effect for our takeoff. Exactly, Adrian. So this is really still part of my core thesis that Pulsechain runs last. So whatever happens in between is like, it's totally irrelevant. Whatever's happening in between is totally 100% irrelevant. I think everybody wants to see steady growth, and I'm seeing steady growth, but I think everybody wants to see like steady growth at this kind of a rate. I don't think it's going to be like that. I really do think it's going to be more of a hockey stick. It's not going to be like a gradual uptrend. I think that's what people are thinking. I'm not seeing it like that. I'm seeing it as like running right at the end. So good to see you in here, Michael Shaw. So always see you on Twitter, bro. So yeah, greatest comebacks. I'm talking about comebacks. So we have the big dog here, Muhammad Ali. So the greatest comebacks of all time. So Muhammad Ali, the Rumble in the Jungle. So he was stripped of his title and he was banned from boxing for refusing to go to the Vietnam War. So he refused the draft. Who does this remind us of? Just not, obviously not, Richard Hart's not a boxer, but it's that same kind of principle. He's fighting against the grain. He's fighting against the cultural norms. So years later, Muhammad Ali, he ended up defeating a much younger George Foreman in this legendary bout that later came to be known as the Rumble in the Jungle, and he reclaimed his heavyweight title. So Richard now, he's in hiding. He hasn't been streaming. He's underground, but he's grinding. And it would have been the same for Muhammad Ali. He didn't stop. But in the end, the righteousness won. He stood up for his principles. He stood up for his morals. He did the right thing. And he came out and he was the big dog. And what's Richard Hart doing? He's in the dark now. But I believe he's going to come out and he's going to take his crown. He did his 10,000x, and I believe he's going to come out and take his crown. And the way that he's going to take his crown is when Pulsechain ends up becoming the #1 blockchain. So again, I really do feel like this is a massive cope. I feel like huge discomfort. In my mind, I've got flashes of like Stylo's tweets and Panos's tweets, and I'm just like, oh, I must sound like a fool to these guys. But you know what? Again, it doesn't. The fluctuations in between, the volatility in between, even though this is extreme volatility, it means nothing. It actually tells me that people are willing to bridge. So I'm looking at it from a learned optimist perspective, not a learned pessimist perspective. Okay, another greatest comeback, Steve Jobs and Apple. So after being ousted from Apple in 1985, obviously Steve Jobs returned in 1997 when the company was nearly bankrupt. So, what's happening on Pulsechain? We're below sacrifice rate. So he came back, he transformed it into one of the most valuable companies in the world with products like the iPod, iPhone, and MacBook. So how was he able to transform the company? With superior products. Now, Pulsechain has superior products. PTGC as an ecosystem is it's superior fundamentals. There's nothing else like it. X Army. There's like the things that Coach X has done, the things that the PTGC guys have done. There's no other fundamentals like that anywhere in all of cryptocurrency. It takes lessons of Hart's law, of the Atropa ecosystem, liquidity webs, and creates fundamentals with buy and burns. There's nothing like that anywhere else on cryptocurrency. Trump is just like throw your money in it, and it goes up. So you're just putting your money into a gold pot, and the gold pot just gets bigger and bigger. They don't have that. They don't have that superior pumpamental logic that we have here. We also have the Atropa ecosystem, which still, who has it been? There's been someone that I've been like, I wouldn't say debating, but going back and forth with, gosh damn. I can see his picture in my mind, but I can't remember his name. I doubt he watches this show anyway, but he's like an OG Atropa guy, and he's saying PTGC is better than Atropa, and he doesn't get what all the hype is with Atropa. And I believe that the people who aren't continuing to look at what the Atropa ecosystem is doing, they're basically they're not seeing the totality of it. They're not seeing the totality of it. If like, I mean, I'm researching it almost every day, and I still feel like I don't understand it completely. It's literally transplanting the entire financial system, the total global financial system, on the blockchain. It's doing that on the blockchain. What else is doing that anywhere else in the world? There is nothing else. That is a superior product. That is superior technology. And this is something that even people on Pulsechain don't even get, so let alone the rest of the market. So again, I maintain my position that once people actually start to click onto what's going on here, these people like Raoul Pal, who like come from the financial world, and they see what's actually on here. I mean, Bitcoin, the way that Michael Saylor talks about Bitcoin, some of the things I don't really fully understand, but the way that he talks about it, I'm just like, bro, wait till he sees, like, he's probably not even going to see, because his full bags are in Bitcoin, so he's not going to look outside of that. Jimmy Rince, that's it, Michael Shaw. Jimmy Rince, that's it, that's him. So Jimmy Rince, so shout out to you, Jimmy Rince. We've had some nice, respectful back and forths, and we just have different perspectives. I see him as being more pessimistic. I see myself as being more optimistic. But again, he might see me as delusional, and I might see him as negative. It's just two different perspectives, right? So, okay, the next greatest comeback. Old mate Nelson Mandela. So after spending 27 years in prison for opposing apartheid, Mandela was released, led South Africa to a peaceful transition from apartheid, and became the country's first black president in 1994. So what was the lesson here? It was a war of attrition. It was a battle against time. So time wins. So again, I'm not looking at these fluctuations that are happening between now and when my thesis, then when the thesis stands. The thesis is that it's either going to flip by the end of the bull market, or it's going to flip eventually down the road, because we have superior products, we have superior technology, and we have superior community. So eventually those things are going to attract the more and more economic value. Whether it happens at the end of this bull market, I do believe it will happen at the end of this bull market. I'm going to stay true to that thesis, but it's really about a time thing. So I'm not looking at these fluctuations in between. It's like, you know, when Atropa goes down, it's like, oh no, everything's dead and everyone's feeling negative. It's just like, well, it's just a dip. Why am I upset about this dip when my long-term thing is by the end of the bull market it's going to be up? What do I care about this dip in between? And I get a lot of pushback, a lot of kickback whenever I say like, oh, PDI is topped, and then it's dipping down. And I get a lot of pushback on that because people don't want it to top. People want, it's like people's impatience is being manifested in what they're tweeting about. Everybody wants to be rich by tomorrow. Everybody wants a millionaire tomorrow, because it's like it's the path of least resistance. Minimal effort for maximum reward. Humans, we're all lazy. That's just how we are. So, all right. Now, Adiwalo, just small thought. Why we can be the #1 blockchain for longer than only 1 month? We need to be at the top for longer and not only 1 month at the end of the bull market. Yep, that's definitely a valid point. And part of my thesis on that is, yes, I agree with that. But I also believe that the people that come in that 1 month are going to see what's actually happening here, and that's going to expand out the network. So, yeah. Basically, I mean, what the hell does Solana have to offer except for being pump and dumps? There's going to be a shitload of people getting wrecked on Trump. It's like, oh, Trump, it's up and I'm up 10,000x already, or 100x. But how many of those people are actually going to take gains out? How many of those people are actually going to the market cap is in the tens of billions. The liquidities, I mean, it's almost a billion, the liquidity, but not everybody's going to be taking profit in that. That's just the nature of how these things work. It's the nature of all the markets. So it's like the ultimate ultimate form of like the ultimate pump and dump. It's going to be exactly the same. It's going to be no different. Everyone's going to get caught round tripping. There's only going to be like 1 to 5% of the people that actually make all the liquidity, that make all the money, and the rest are going to just be continuing to wait for a value that's never going to come. So those people are all going to get sick of it as well. So then when those people and other people like them come to Pulsechain and they see, hang on a minute, there's superior products here with the Atropa ecosystem, with PTGC. I have no idea how these things are going to perform in the bear market. What happens if Maria still keeps building in the bear market? He hasn't stopped building from day one. He's just continued to build for like the last year and a half that Pulsechain's been around. So who's to say that he's not going to keep building in the bear market? Who's to say there's not going to be an abundance of opportunities in the bear market? I mean, for so long, we were in a bear market with Pulsechain compared to the rest of the market, and everyone who's in Atropa is up. So it's like, who's to say that our bear market is, yes, we're going to be down, but who's to say that we're not going to have DeFi summer, it happened in a bear market. To the best of my knowledge, it happened basically in a bear market. So yeah, yes, you're right. Not just for 1 month, but I think that there'll be a percentage of those people that get hooked with the superior products that it's on Pulsechain, and it will expand out the network. And people are going to get sick of places like Solana because it offers nothing except for degenerate gambling, and people are going to get sick of it. I don't know about you guys. I find it fun to gamble, but not all the time. It's like, I don't want to be staring at charts all day. It's like anxiety inducing. It's like, who wants to live like that? I don't think many people actually do. People just see it as an opportunity for a quick flip. I think there's going to be so much pain, and I just think that Pulsechain is still going to be the shining hill on the city. We just have superior. We have superior everything. There's nothing that we're not superior in my opinion. And then if the gas ends up being too much, probably Richard has a plan for that. Maybe fork the blockchain again, or who knows? Maybe he does a layer 2 after that. Who knows? So, roll up. So yeah, I guess as I've been saying, so the Trump coin, good for Pulsechain or not? Yeah, I mean, evidently it's not good for Pulsechain in the short term, but optimistically, I see it as like, okay, it's actually showing me statistically that people are more than happy to bridge assets. Not only are they bridging assets, they're also buying on a decentralized exchange. So again, there's all this FUD around like, oh, people don't want to bridge assets. People don't want to buy on a DEX. Well, it's not listed on any major exchanges, and it's nearly $1 billion in liquidity. So it throws out a lot of those arguments that people are saying. So really, let's just be optimistic. Let's stop focusing on the negative. That's what I'm continuously trying to do. But we can't change I can't change anyone. I can't change anything. But it's just like, we're the masters of our own destiny. We're the masters of our own destiny. We're attacking each other every second week. We're like, there's really no point complaining. I don't want to be the guy that says, oh, if you don't like it, just leave. No, stay. Don't leave. Things are going to get better. That's what I'm saying. Stay and don't leave. Keep learning, keep grinding, like expand your mind out. See all the beautiful things that are actually happening on Pulsechain. Like literally no one is researching the Atropa ecosystem. Like even it was Jimmy Rince. All these guys, I honestly, who else is doing it? Like there's no one else doing it. And it's kind of frustrating because I got nobody else to learn off. It's just me. I got some people to learn off, but there's no other content creators that are doing it as extensively as I am. So it's difficult to learn. I mean, Khaled in crypto, he's doing stuff. There's a few lads out there, no doubt about it. But yeah, like it's almost just like everyone's resting on their laurels. People have bought their tokens in Atropa. They did the deep dive. They got their tokens, Teddy Bear, Atropa. And now they're up so much, it's like, okay, they can just sit back and relax. And hey, there's totally nothing wrong with that. There's totally nothing wrong with that. And I'm not criticizing that at all. But all I'm saying is there's so much more happening in the Atropa ecosystem than just those initial days. It's like that was part 1. We're in part 2 was dysnomia. We're in like part 3 now. It's just like things keep expanding out. So yeah, I don't know what else to say. I can't be any more bullish because of the Atropa ecosystem. I really don't know what to say. Like it's the most superior ecosystem in all of cryptocurrency, and I'm gonna stay true to that. So, yes, thoughts on Trump coin. So I highlighted that. Could our current bridges now handle the volume of the upcoming bull? Flashing back to initial logjam on launch, I think centralized listing might help. You're definitely right, CD, and I think that's definitely an interesting point. it's kind of two-pronged there as well. It's almost like there's even a positive way of looking at that, because I don't actually know the math of that. I don't actually know whether our bridges can handle that. But what let's go back to this now. Let me just see. Was this the end of the presentation? All right, we'll go back to this here. So we'll go back to this old mate here, all the Solana inflows. So can our bridge actually handle that? I don't actually know. I'm not technically savvy in the bridge mechanics. I suppose if Solana's bridges can handle it, I don't see why our bridges couldn't. That's what I would say. But also, there's so many different kinds of bridges. There's just like wallet swaps. You can go to the official Pulsechain bridge. There's all these different kinds of bridges. But also, it builds up like from a positive perspective, it builds up like like if things are pumping and you're like, oh, like tell me you haven't done this yourself in the past. Like, if I'm honestly speaking myself, I will go and like, for example, like I have to try and think of a specific example, but let's just say with even bridging to Pulsechain, actually in the early days when I try to bridge and it's like, oh, it's taking like 2 hours. So instead of like, well, I'm only going to put 1,000 in now, and then maybe in like 2 weeks time, I'll put another 1,000 in. But because it's taking so long now, I'm just going to get my other 1,000 and put it in now straight away. So it's almost like it can have an optimistic perspective on it as well. So yeah, maybe it's going to slow things down, but that build up of energetic anticipation is really, it's actually a remarkable thing for the price chart, in my opinion. So we are chain number 8 on Dex Screener today. The takeover will come after Ethereum flips Bitcoin and Solana gets rugged or just switched off. Yeah, I think Solana is going to be like, pretty much Solana is going to be the number one until it basically hits a top. And then when it hits a top, that liquidity is going to drain out of Solana. Then maybe it's going to go into like Ethereum and Arbitrum and everywhere else. But then it's eventually going to flow its way into Pulsechain. That is my thesis. So in a way, it's kind of cheating, but there's still going to be a ton of like, it's all going to happen in a matter of weeks. So, or possibly months, who knows? So at one point, I really do believe that it will. The ultimate would be if it can actually do it, like while we're competing in the bull market. But I don't see that as possible at this current point in time. I don't actually think that that's possible. So, but I definitely see us flipping Ethereum easily. So I think we'll easily get to number 2 before this hockey stick moment. But number 1 is going to have to be where basically Solana's on its way out and Pulsechain is really having its final leg up. All right, so yeah, and again, Copexistence Steven. So this could be considered like massive Cope delusional faith. I don't mind. I'm sticking to my thesis. So hopefully we're seeing Sol ETH top here. Trump launching a coin on Sol has to mark a top of some kind. Yeah, look, I'm not too sure. I think it actually just kind of kickstarts what could possibly be the best bull run we're ever going to see in cryptocurrency if you're in the right assets. I mean, cryptos now, there's like thousands and thousands and tens of thousands, probably even hundreds of thousands of different tokens. If you're in the wrong stuff, you're going to miss it. If you're in the right stuff, this could be like the best bull market in cryptocurrency that we're like. The president of the United States of America just launched his own meme coin. The president of the most powerful country in the world just launched his very own meme coin. How can that not be the most bullish thing in all of cryptocurrency? How can that just not blow your mind? So, I mean, it certainly blows my mind. It's almost to a point, I'm almost at a point of like disbelief. It's just like, it's ridiculous. So my superior favorites, PTGC, X Protocol, Atropa, A1A, and RH. I've prepared during the bear and they continue to grow every day. No stress. The notorious one. Brother, I am with you. All the things that I'm in, yeah, there's a dip today, but no big deal. Even like, where are we? The pulse, like even this, like, I don't know. I was buying down here. I was buying these assets down here. So yeah, okay, it's not above sack rate, but it's still pretty good. You know, if you accumulated down here, you're certainly up. If you accumulated here, you're certainly up. If you accumulated here, you're certainly up. If you accumulated here, you're probably still up. So yeah, it's all really just a matter of, but if you stay defeated and were like, okay, I'm just waiting for my bags and I'm not buying anything else, then of course you're going to be defeated. Of course you're going to be feeling this thing, and I feel really sorry for you. Wise to 0x Coast works pretty nice. Just takes a couple of days to set up. Wise. Is that the Wise? Is that the green? I think that's Wise. That's the green thing. Okay, cool. That's what I had when I was in South Korea. Really good travel card. So I believe it's an inevitability that we flip Ethereum. I think we're going to flip Ethereum within this bull run. I think we're going to overtake them really quite easily within this bull run. Did I show this? Did I show this in the previous short stream? I did, but in this one, this is, so when I was talking about the liquidity webs, PulseX, V1, V2, this is just a Tropa, 1,966. Pools where either is in with a Tropa, 10,387. This doesn't take into account the 300 plus other Atropa tokens. That would be like hundreds of thousands of liquidity pools that are interconnected. As the prices in each of the liquidity pools grows, as the price of just one grows, it grows all of them, which creates volume between hundreds of thousands of different liquidity pools. So it's like, I don't know, man. This is, I don't know. Like, I just think again, I'll go back to that Tensor mathematics, the Tensor mathematics. It's like, I don't know. I think that there's something special going on here. So for me, we flip Ethereum for me. So this bull market. Trump coin will bring attention and many more non-coiners will move into crypto. Exactly. So this ultimately, who was the one that asked if this was bullish for Pulsechain or not? So right now it's okay. From today, it's like, well, technically it's not bullish for Pulsechain because liquidity is flowing out. But in the long term, that's why it's hard for me, because I'm always thinking in the future. I'm not thinking about like what happened just today. I'm thinking in the future, like what's my future projection? So for me, yeah, the Trump coin is bullish for Pulsechain because it's going to bring more people into cryptocurrency, which is eventually going to flow into, or percentages of it are going to flow into Pulsechain. So exactly. So, hey, Steven, good morning, Frankie Lloyd White. Most of us live in Coped and half state. It takes a couple of balls to even face it. Exactly, bro. Exactly. Especially if you're in the Richard Hart ecosystem, man. We are like we're maximum cope over here. So crypto bull season, let's LFG. So this will be the mother of all bull markets. I really do believe that. He launched his own meme coin before his presidency. It's like a big finger to the SEC. He's like, it's just, there's too many things, man. There's just too many things. It's like, it's just, yeah. What more can we say? Why does Treasury bills seem to be dumping the hardest? I don't think Treasury bills dumping the hardest. I don't think Treasury bills dumping the hardest. I think that they're all dumping pretty much the same. I mean, if you look at like 17%, I don't think. Actually, let's have a look. I'll be very interested to see what is dumping the hardest. So, all right. So here we go. /Pulsechain. I mean, when I get these kinds of questions, it's really like, it sounds to me like you might have too much Treasury bill. Put it that way. All right, let's go to 24-hour. What's dumping the hardest? Oops. OMG, wrecked. Ooh, XUSD, wrecked. Nice. So if you like XUSD, buy more. UFO, buy more. Teddy bear, buy more. Okay, so teddy bear Treasury bill. Maybe because teddy bear has been wrecked the most and there's a massive bonding with Treasury bill. So maybe that's why you've seen BFF, Monet Money, Blast, G-Baby, Kishka. I mean, it's a much of muchness, right? Where else can we see Treasury bill? Okay, yeah. So it's not really falling the most. So, or certainly not within the last 24 hours. Yeah, that's a crazy looking web. Exactly. So really, I want to bring that up. I want to bring that up again. So Tensor Math versus, because it was a nice like groundbreaking moment for me. So where was that sick dick image that I had? So I'll use this one now. Actually, it's a different one. And can I make it a little bit big? Oh, what about this actually? Maybe this is better. Maybe this is even better. So Tensor. And I probably don't have it extremely accurate on the, like I don't have it extremely accurate on, like I'm just looking at this conceptually. I don't really know what it means by vector. I don't know what these numbers really mean. But I'm just looking at conceptually as the image, and it's just like, okay, well, this is some kind of linear logic where basically it's like flowing from one point to another point. Matrix is like across a field, and then tensor is across like a three-dimensional field. So again, Trump is pumping up and down. It's a vector. It's going up. It's going down. It's just connected to Solana. Yes, there's other kinds of dexes and now centralized exchanges that it's going to be, but it's still essentially exactly the same thing. And then across a matrix might be something like if let's say PTGC, and it was just like PTGC bonded with other like UFO and whatever else is bonded with, and then Tensor is like connecting all the things in PTGC together with all the things over here together, and so it's like it's a different logic. Actually, matrix would be more like, say, the whole of Solana blockchain. That's what matrix would be. So this is just Trump. Trump is up and down. Matrix would be all of Solana. So all these individual tokens that go up and down against Solana. Tensor is all of these different liquidity pools going up and down against each other, and all of that volume that's going in between them, and all of that liquidity that's fluctuating between them. So Richard Farr is a coward and deserves to be in jail. Fair enough. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. So I think possibly that might be like maybe you're at a loss, and that it's that kind of speaking. I mean, yeah, I don't think he's a coward even in the slightest. Actually, I think that comment is very very misplaced. I don't know where you're getting your information from, my man, but yeah, you're getting it from the wrong places, bro. So I would definitely relook at the kind of information you're getting. So I'm going to finish this nice and short today. So the Illuminati owns Tefed. Hey, Vivian, what's going on? Dr. Scam Coin. All right, I'm just going to finish on this. Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen this Aussie man reviews. I mean, I don't know how famous he is everywhere else, but in Australia, he's quite famous. And then Stephen Bradbury. So my boy, Stephen Bradbury. Let's just watch this. This is the Pulsechain win.
I'm going to take you back. Australia gracefully glides over the fucking finish line in first. Cheeky cunt and one of our most legendary athletes. But those people are dickheads. It was all strategy. 99% of the time, if you leave people alone, they will self-destruct, fuck up, and butcher their lives like me Uncle Terry did. Anyway, Steve-O knows this, and that was his plan. Dinkum genius.
Oh, dear. All right. Extreme ridiculousness. Oh, you would have been getting some echo there. My bad. Doesn't matter. All good. Short and sweet. Anyway, nothing's changed for me. Not even in the slightest. Yeah, it doesn't look good in the short term. Things stink, but it just means for me, not financial advice. It just means buying opportunity. So, hey, Sammy Chica, what's going on? All right, everybody. Take care. Short and sweet. Have a good night. And a good day or a good afternoon. Depends where you are in the world. I always think of old mate Donovan Jolly on that one. Take care, everybody.